unfortunately, Neil just told us about O'Loughlin. So Banks played well. Charles Finley got a lot of snaps. So how do you overcome the loss of Miko?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunate for him. We hate it for him because he'd made such strides in his off season, and then going through the injury at the beginning of the year, and playing so well against TCU, and then the unfortunate injury here at the end. So just hate it for him. Sure here to support him and get him back healthy. And he's been around, so it's been good to see him say he's been positive and allow him to get around those young guys and make his mark in a different way. And it was sure good to see those younger guys play well and be prepared to play well. And as we go through it, that's what the call will be, is just a kind of a next guy up mentality, that we've got to continue to have our roster ready to have depth to be able to sustain season-ending stuff or any injury. So proud of those guys, and certainly hurt for Mike O, but we'll support him and get him through and still let him be a member of this in a way he can be.
Most aggressive defense you're going to face this year?
Absolutely. I felt like we said that last week too. Yes.
These guys?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What makes them so unique with what they do?
What may, again, like the discussions of other ones that have been good, and this one is really good, is just an attacking mentality, versatile, multiple, in what they do in coverage and front. They're very attacking, very physical in the back end, grab, hold, collision, carry in route games, run to the football the right way at all levels, first, second, and third levels. So that equals a very good defense.
Would you say it's safe to say that they I don't want to say expose, but they put more on their defensive backs than maybe anybody else with the way they cover and the way they let them put them on an island?
Yeah, sure. I think they do. I mean, there's a lot of trust there in its aggressive nature. Those guys, they've got faith in their players, and they put them out there and believe in them, and obviously it's worked.
So talk about Banks now that he's going to have to obviously move into the starting role. It looked like he played well. What did you think of him this past week and then moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, he in the past game, I think, which everybody knows is first, because that's the thing that is out there to see and follow the ball. But he did a great job catching the football and finishing runs vertically and protecting the football the right way. It was really good to see him break some tackles and play physical with the ball in his hand. And then in the run game, he did a great job just keeping his feet in the ground with hat placement and ball get off, and really protected his gap and strained, which is, I think, what the entire offensive line did the best. We weren't perfect, but we continued to strain, and if we keep taking steps in that direction, that'll equal long-term success. So I think he did both those phases well.
Most pleasing aspect of last week's play in your mind, what you guys did offensively?
What I would say as a staff and personally, just the resilience of it all, just to be able to handle a punch, then be able to give one back, to not go to a negative place and worry about maybe the result or the what if games that I think it's just easy to play. It's just such a mental grind to get through a year and to sustain it. 2 weeks ago, I think everybody probably felt differently in this room and in every room and every fan than we do 2 weeks now. And what really has changed, would be that, there's plays been made, blind faith in our players, a continued commitment to getting better each week. And so it's got us to a point now where, we're here and we've got 4 left, and it's all about this week now. So I think for us to really, Coach Brown kind of alluded to it in the staff meeting, for us to turn a corner and really get going, it's just being able to do this week by week, and not having to be perfect, but just do it week by week, then a commitment to continuing to get better and strain, and then we think and we believe in our guys, and our guys believe in each other, and you get there. But I think just the strain of it all and a commitment to those guys continuing to grow and make plays, which help, as gets it to this point.
So win the week.
Win the week. I mean, it's hard now. The sales pitch to the guys sometimes is easier, after a Halloween win and all that stuff. But it's like I told them on Sunday, too much sugar will make you sick, especially around trick or treat. So everybody's feeling good, and there's a lot of good things to be said, and they deserve those things. But at the same time, if you don't make sure you fix the same things you fixed when it didn't go that well as you do when it does, that feeling goes away quickly.
Speaking of plays, Bryce Ford Wheaton's catch in the end zone. Have you seen one better? Have you seen, and then more importantly, have you seen him, that the growth from him, that he's now capable of making plays like that?
Well, and again, and I'm not being whatever, but I do not want to tie that to the result of the game, because we've seen that, and I believed in him and pushed him to try to get to this other point in his career, really, especially since January. So I'm not shocked or surprised by it all. I think that, it's the same thing to him. He shouldn't be either. The point would be to expect that kind of success and those things to happen week in and week out, as opposed to being surprised and having a flash in the pan type effect. So now that was a hell of a play. To be fair, I've probably seen a couple like that, to be fair, right? I can think back to there was an Aaron Dobson catch at Marshall that probably compared to it, but that may be it. That was a pretty special one. But we expect those guys to make those, and not make all of them, but make a lot of them. And they should expect that of themselves too. And when they don't, instead of going, you're right, like that's what we do, right? We just say scream and catch the ball. The response is, okay, we didn't make that. We got to make the next one. That's why it's called a 50-50. It's not it's a coin toss, and we got to make more than that. And I think that the expectation of that room, I know that I'm responsible for, they're expected to. And they're expected to come out and play that way again this week, or try like hell to. And I think that they've adopted that mentality. They better. And that's what will continue, again, to build long. We're not trying to be good, just in the short run. We want to be good here in the long run.
Jared, you guys have talked about creating more explosive plays most season. Last two games you've done that. Is it just simply guys are making plays, or what's been the difference?
Yeah, I think just having blind faith in the players, and them having faith in each other and us, and just making a commitment to doing so. Maybe no more, no less than before. I just think that you got to commit to it. There's an old saying from a coach I was with in the Kentucky days that say you can't win the Kentucky Derby by screaming whoa. So we've got to make sure we go, and our guys got to believe in it. We got to believe in it, and we got to stay committed to it, even if it maybe is a negative result sometimes. And I think those guys are doing a good job on the field. Our players are doing a good job making our plays work.
Along those lines, Jared's thrown a lot more vertical passes too. Is that an increase in calls, or is him being more confident to throw it, or seeing guys who are now open that weren't?
Yeah, I think he's been more confident and committed to it, and it's good for him to see that he's been in that mindset.
Has that been something you all talked about during the open week, about just trigger it, let it go, see if it works?
Yeah, I think there was a commitment just to making sure that he believes in that, and he stays aggressive. And we've obviously talked about that as a staff as well, so it's good to kind of see those two match,
You see that sometimes where a light goes on. I mean, even in a fourth-year player or something like that. How does that happen? And I mean, that all of a sudden you talk about blind faith. Maybe that's it.
Yeah, I think it's there's a bunch of ways to maybe look at it, but I think more than anything, there's a bunch of bagged reps and things that get you to that point, and then it appears that it happened all of a sudden, when in reality it was this entire process of failure, success, and a little bit in between that turned it into those moments. So I think it's really a long process of that, but it just appears, all of a sudden.
Missing a tight end. You just missed a big body, an extra blocker. It looked like you all were able to kind of still play big without a tight end in at times. Just how do you do that, and what does everybody have to do differently or in addition to make that
Yeah,
happen?
I think it's just, you constantly have to search for ways to find answers against a great defense last week, and in the future the defenses will play, especially this week as well. And so you just try to find your best ways to create solutions, because as we know, our opposition doesn't have any concern for where we're at depth-wise or if we lose someone. So I think just a little bit of mix of both, finding personnel that can get it done, plug those guys in, and then find scheme that fits us the best with those pieces, and commit to it and find a way.
I think this is a game Saturday where your wide receivers are going to have to win one-on-one matchups.
Yeah, I think it's certainly the way they play, I think it'll be it's going to be one of those hand-to-hand combat games on the perimeter when it gets out there, and it'll be a huge test for us because they're very good at it, and we're going to have to be equipped to kind of be in it because again, it's not going to be one of those things where you win every battle, but we're going to try really hard to do so and commit to really straining to try to find a way to get through some of those ugly break points that are going to get very collisioned and a lot of hands and those things, and we're going to have to really commit to winning those wars.
Any other questions for Coach Parker? Thank you, Coach.
Thank you all.